What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new here, all we do here is make videos of our Tacoma, 4Runner, Tundra, FJ Cruiser, and pretty much all the Toyota trucks. So if you guys are interested in that, or if you guys are into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and check us out. But today in this video, we are going to be showing you guys a couple racks that we have seen in the past and that a lot of people really like. So we're going to do a little comparison between those racks, and let's go ahead and show you guys which one those are. So we are in the front of our shop here in Denver, Colorado. Today is quite a bit windy and we are pretty much on the street side of the shop. So there's going to be a little bit of background noise, maybe a lot. So I really apologize for that. But we have all the vehicles here, so we just figured it'll be a lot easier to show you guys the video and do the video out here. So these are going to be the racks that we're going to be showing you guys here. So we have our second gen Tacoma here. This is a 2013 Tacoma. So it has the upgraded headlights, the facelift pretty much. And over here we have our third gen Tacoma, 2017, which is going through a couple new changes. As you guys can see here, no front bumper, no rear bumper. So if you guys have a third gen, or if you guys are interested in what we're doing to this one, make sure you guys check that out a little bit later. Over here we have Gabe's 5th gen 4Runner. This is the MGM color, and we're going to talk about his rack in a little bit. And then over here, one of our newest guys, this is Hugo. He was over at Toy Tech, but he is here now and we absolutely love him. He has a Gobi rack on top, which is extremely popular for the 4Runner market. So these four are the ones that we're going to be showing you guys today. So let's go ahead and start off down here. So this is a second gen or 2.5 gen Tacoma. It has Morimoto headlights, Moto off-road lighting in the ditch lights and fog lights. But let's talk about the roof rack. So this here, as you guys can see right here, this is a Prinsu roof rack. This is the first rack that we actually had on our third gen Tacoma. This one is probably one of my favorite racks just because of the look of it. So from the side view, one of my favorite, or probably my favorite things about the rack is the front fairing. You guys can see there that it follows the body line or the window line of the Tacoma really well. So great for aerodynamics, so it goes right over the rack. And then the front fairing, the wind fairing, is actually resting on the roof, and it's protected by a rubber piece, so that way it doesn't actually scratch up the roof. So on the side here, it does have some adjustments for that windscreen, so you can adjust it up and down if you don't want it to touch. But the down position is probably the best for wind noise, so that way you don't have any wind noise at all. And that rubber piece is actually called a noise trim reducer. So exactly does the purpose of that piece. And then on that, we have a Heretic 40-inch light bar. We have it mounted a little bit different than the way Prinsu designed it, but we did it this way because if we were going to put something that ran all the way to the front, it won't interfere with the light bar. And we do have a video on this, so if you guys are interested in how we did that, make sure you guys check out that video. I might just go ahead and put in the top right corner for you guys to check out. And then another cool feature about these is that Prinsu just came out with these handles. So these handles here, it can accommodate for a rock light. This is made for Baja Designs Rock Light. And let me see if I can zoom in and show you guys that little square there. So you can take that piece out with the two screws holding it in and install a rock light. Currently we are making a handle for our own rock light, the R4T Rock Light. So be on the lookout for that if you guys don't want to run the Baja Designs, just because those rock lights are pretty expensive. They're about 60 to 70 bucks a piece, so extremely pricey just to have some camping lights, you know, illuminating the floor when you guys are at camp, or when you guys are at the mall, whatever you guys are into. I'm not judging. On top of that, we have a shovel that we have mounted with some quick fists. Quick fists are these little rubber things that will hold anything that is round in diameter. You have various sizes to mount various size, pretty much sticks. So that's what we have up there. Let's go to the other side. Oh, actually, let's show you guys a front view. So here's what it looks like from the front. You guys can kind of see that light bar and how flush it is on the rack itself. Over here, we have a pair of recovery boards. These specific ones are made by Maxtrax, and you guys can see here we are using the tie down rings that comes with the Prinsu, and we're not using the pins that you can buy from Maxtrax. And the main reason why we did that is because Maxtrax does not have any pins right now, and it's been out for months. So we had to figure out a way to get our Maxtrax up there, and you can actually even put a lock on that and it'll be secure. So we have all of this in the second gen Prinsu install video if you guys want to check that out. So that's pretty much it for the Prinsu. This has been one of my favorite racks for a long time, just because it is super sleek and it just does the job. So that's that one. So coming over here, this is our third gen Tacoma 2017 TRD Pro. So like I said before, originally my first rack was the Prinsu with a Baja Designs 40-inch light bar, but now we have an upTOP Overland. This is the Alpha series, and it's been great. You guys can see here it does have two side plates, an inner and an outer. There is two versions, and I'll show you guys the other version, which is called a Bravo, and just a little bit on the 4Runner, on the MGM one over there. But my main thing, well, the main thing why I like the upTOP Overland so much is that the front windscreen allows you to have a special, or I guess custom cutout for each of the lights or light pods that you guys can install. So currently these are these lights are the Baja Designs LP4. So you guys can see the 4 pods there, or the 4 pockets in the lights, and we have 7 of them. 4 of them are amber or yellow, whatever you want to call it, and then 3 white. So this is the reason why we like the upTOP Overland, because of this front fairing. So really, depending on what light you put up here, you can have it custom fairing made for those lights. And then on the side here, the Alpha comes with these handles. So as you guys can see here, it's not a hard fixed handle like the Prinsu, but it does have some play, so that way you can grab it and swing it. It does have some security metal wires on there as well, so this holds up about 500 pounds. I don't know what the handles on the Prinsu hold, but they look pretty strong, so I wouldn't doubt it holds anything less than 500. But the inner plate has these grooves on it to allow you to run these bungees called the perfect bungees, and they nest in there just perfectly. Perfect for holding anything up top that you want to tie down with some bungees. Another really cool thing with Baja, or not with Baja, with upTOP, are these pods. So they allow you to knock out these knockouts that they cut into these side plates and install. So there's 2 pieces to this. The outer part is called a seam pod, and then the inner one is a Baja Designs Rock Light. So those knockouts, which I'll show you guys on the 4Runner as well, allow you to take those out, install these in, and then we'll actually have our own R4T Rock Lights that I talked about earlier, which will fit in this rack with some pods, light pods, just like these ones here, but obviously just not the Baja Designs Rock Lights. Since we're talking about this one, I'll talk about the bed rack as well. So the front one is the Alpha roof rack that goes on top of the cab on the Tacoma. This rack back here, this is the EX Alpha. So the Alpha has 2 plates, just like the front, but being that it's the EX, it sits on top of this bed rack, which is also made by upTOP Overland. This bed rack is called the Truss. The Truss is probably one of our favorite bed racks on the market, just because of the way it looks and the way that it's, how modular it is, and it allows you to hold a lot of things, and you know, it has a lot of mounting points that you can mount and install a bunch of stuff. So this is a little more expensive compared to if you were just to do a bed rack, but the EX is nice. EX Alpha is nice because it ties into the roof rack, as you get to see here, and it's the same height, but that is adjustable with some plates right here. Let me turn up the brightness so you guys can see. So this plate, not this specific one, but they make a plate that you can adjust it up and down. So if you guys wanted to go a little bit higher, so that way it goes over the roof rack, you guys could do that. But this one here meets up with that roof rack in the front. So that is that. But I know a lot of you guys have asked me to do a comparison video between the upTOP Overland and the Prinsu, and the pros and cons of each. So the pro for the upTOP Overland roof rack would have to be that you can have a custom windscreen for big lights like this, whereas the Prinsu, you're limited to a 40-inch light bar, a standard light bar like this one. But this is for the Prinsu, the pro of the Prinsu, that it is more sleek, as you guys can see here. It flows with the truck better than the upTOP Overland, but I like to run lights, so this is the rack that I have on Tacoma currently. But another big but is that we are working with Prinsu to see if we could run some pods like the LP4s on the Prinsu, just because the demand for it has become more popular. So we might be swapping out, I don't know, we'll see. But either way, I really like the upTOP Overland rack and the Prinsu rack just the same. Both companies are amazing, and the people that work there, so I couldn't really pick one over the other. So I would say these two are a tie in my books. Next up here we have Gabe's 5th gen 4Runner. So this is an upTOP Overland roof rack as well, and you guys can kind of see in here we're on a slight hill, so it looks like the light bar is pointed a little bit down, but there's a few benefits to having the light bar behind the windscreen, kind of the same way we have the bottom of the roof rack on the 2nd gen Tacoma kind of behind the windscreen there. So the benefit is that you don't get glare on your hood when you actually use it. So a lot of you guys say that, like, you know, it's blocked a little bit, but yes, it is true. But when you guys are driving in here and you guys flip on your light bar and it's fully exposed, you guys are going to get blinded by the hood shining into your eyes, versus like the Prinsu, where it's blocked. A lot of the light that comes out from the bottom gets blocked a little bit, so you don't get blinded, and all the usable light is shining directly in the direction you need it to be. Same concept on the upTOP Overland. So the bottom is slightly blocked, but actually all the usable light is actually shining in the front and you don't get blinded. So the reason why we have two upTOP Overland roof racks to show you guys is this one here is a Bravo. So as you guys can see here, don't mind this bend right here. Gabe actually drove this through a car wash when he had an awning and it just bent it. So yeah, don't mind that. But as you guys can see here, single side plate versus a double side plate. So Alpha over here on the Tacoma and Bravo over here on the 4Runner. You guys can see here it still has those ribs, so you guys can use the perfect bungee to strap stuff down onto the top of it if you guys wanted to. And it still has holes here, actually just here, for installing handles. So you can get these handles from upTOP Overland as well, or from us to install there. So this right here is the knockout that I was talking about earlier. So what you guys would need to do to basically knock that out is just cut it with like pretty much anything. We use a reciprocating saw, a small one, to get in there and cut it. It's aluminum, it's really small in there. It's hard to see it right now, but there's 3 little tiny pieces that you need to cut out. Then once you have it cut out, you can install either the Baja Designs rock lights with the scene pods, or you can install our rock lights with our scene pods, or light pod is what we're calling it in here. We normally stock the upTOP Overland Bravo roof rack, and we also stock the Prinsu as well. So this one we stock a lot of just because it's so popular and it's one of our favorite, and we stock the Bravo. So Prinsu and the upTOP Overland Bravo racks we stock. The Alpha we do not stock because it is more expensive, and you actually can customize the inner plate or the outer plate color to match the color on your truck if you guys wanted to. So this one being the more expensive option, and the amount of customization you could do to this is the reason why we don't stock it. So if you guys are looking for something that is in stock and readily available, we have the upTOP Overland Bravo for the 4Runner and Tacoma, and the Prinsu for the 4Runner and Tacoma. Lastly, we have a Gobi rack. The Gobi rack is an extremely popular rack for the 5th gen 4Runner. This one here is the original 4Runner design before they did the facelift with the new headlights and this bezel here. So this one is the what we call the OG 4Runner. So this one, the Gobi, is a tube style, as you guys can kind of see here. I'll go to the other side where there's a little more light that you guys can see. So let me brighten this up a little bit. So right there, you guys can see the tubes that make up the rack. So Gobi is actually local to us. They are in Aurora, and they make these basket style roof rack, which actually looks really good when there isn't a tent mounted on top of it. And the reason why I say that is because personally I'm not a fan of the tent because it's so narrow. You don't have a lot of usable space. So like I didn't mention, but this roof rack on the 4Runner Tacoma is a 50-inch wide rack. So you get 50 inches from one end to the other on both the 4Runner and the Tacoma rack. The Prinsu, you get 47 inches, so pretty close. But the Gobi, you don't get anywhere near that. It's super narrow, as you guys can see here. The weather stripping for this rack is here, and the tent is actually further in, so it's like an inch or an inch and a half in. So you don't get a lot of usable storage or footprint to mount stuff into. So when you put a tent or something on top, it overhangs by quite a bit. So the rack is there and the tent is there, so it overhangs it about 6 inches or so. So quite a bit, and that's on both sides. So you're overhanging about a total of 10 to 12 inches total, depending on your tent, of course. But yeah, that's the one big thing I don't like. And the mounting solution for this is all has to be a tube style clamp or something that will work. So over here, but Hugo has an awning. You kind of see that bracket's kind of bending down. So mounting solution for this stuff isn't great, because you can see there it's just a tube clamp, and that could pivot, that could rotate when you guys are on the trail and all those rocky, bumpy trails that we tend to go on. Here's a side profile of it with an awning on it. But yeah. And then here's a light bar mounted on the top using a couple tube style clamps as well to mount to it. So I personally like it if there wasn't anything mounted to it and you just use it to kind of take random small things on top. But like the light bar and the windscreen, it doesn't really flow together. It looks like it just was added on top of it. And I don't know, it just is so narrow, and I don't know, I don't really know. I don't want to say too many bad things about it, because it really is like a really solid rack, and it does look good when there's nothing on top of it. But the mounting solution and the light bar options and stuff isn't as great as the upTOP Overland or the Prinsu. These are more modular style, like the Prinsu, the upTOP, where the Gobi is more of like a fixed, style rack. But that is gonna be all the racks there. We're gonna come over here to a couple more vehicles and show you guys a couple more things. So here is our FJ Cruiser, long travel FJ Cruiser, and it has an aluminum DeMello front bumper that we just installed on it. So this one here is another upTOP Overland rack with the inner plate being color matched, so it's white to match the white. So this is what I mean when you can do color match. And these are actually our new rock lights with our light pods. So these have 3 LEDs on them. They are slightly brighter than the Baja Designs that is on my 3rd gen Tacoma, which only has 2 LEDs. And here is our 3rd gen Tundra. It's hard to see, but the inner plate is a lunar rock color to match the lunar rock that is on this Tundra. And actually this one will get some Baja Designs lighting pretty soon. They've just been back ordered for so long, which is why we have an empty windscreen. So if you guys are wondering what no light bar cutout looks like on an upTOP Overland, this is what it'll look like. So let me show you a side profile actually while we're here. What I was saying before about the Prinsu, it has that front fairing that kind of follows the windshield, where the upTOP Overland has a more aero-like fairing. So air goes over the top and it goes underneath. So not as sleek as the Prinsu when you guys don't have a fairing up there, or when you guys don't have a custom fairing that holds big lights. So if I were to choose between the upTOP Overland with no fairing, no light bars, no light pods or anything up there, or the Prinsu that does have the light bar or light pods, I would probably choose the Prinsu, just because of how sleek it looks when it's actually installed, like so. But I would choose the upTOP Overland if if I did do the light pods like the LP4s that I have here. So it really all comes down to what we're doing with lighting. So super clean, sleek look, more, I guess, in your face lights if you're scared of the dark, lights over here. So these two are probably my two favorite racks currently, and we have a couple more racks to show you guys a little bit later, some different brands that are new to us that we're going to install and see how they compare to these two and see if they make it to our favorite top 3 racks. Okay guys, that is gonna conclude this video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. We've been meaning to do this video for a while now, and it was just about time. But as you guys saw in the video, Prinsu and upTOP Overland are our current 2 favorite racks, and we're going to be installing a few more other brands pretty soon and see how they compare to these two. These two are probably the best, in our opinion at least, for the time being. We will let you guys know more as we install those other racks. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you guys are not already, so that way you guys can keep up to date with what we do and the reviews and everything that is Toyota truck related. And that will be it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.